think that there's a decent likelihood that the prosecution will wrap up their case in chief this week in the Karen Read trial. Today was day 15 of Karen Read's trial, and there was several witnesses that appeared today. Hi, my name is Sydney Rushing. I'm a criminal defense attorney in the state of Michigan. Now let's talk about it. First and foremost, we got confirmation that yesterday's cancellation was in fact due to Karen Read's illness. See, I told y'all. The morning started off with none other than two more of Karen Read's interview clips. The first one being, that she didn't think her and John were going to break up and about their relationship. And the second one was about the flirty and scandalous text messages that she had with Higgins. Then the state called witness number 25, which was John's niece. Now, she's a minor, so there was no audio taken. There was no video taken. So I can't tell you what she said because I wasn't able to see it. And if you're wondering where I fall within the scale of that should have been that way or not, I'm letting you know right now, I'm 1000% in agreement that should have never been televised, recorded, or shared with the world. She is a minor. Then the state called witness number 26, which was Sergeant Zachary Clark from the Massachusetts State Police. Just as a FYI, I just want y'all to know how many times I've had to re-record these ones because I'll say Michigan State Police instead of the Massachusetts State Police, just so you're aware. Anyways, Lally did the direct on this. We obviously started hearing about his career, his training, his experiences. He was called basically to go check out Karen's car at the Canton Police Department. He was told by Proctor that a search warrant was being executed and that they were looking for several things in the vehicle such as alcohol containers, communication devices, phones, things like that. Clark was the photographer. February 1st is when these photos were taken. He took pictures of the outside of the vehicle, the inside of the vehicle, and they actually included some of these photos as evidence to the jury. The first photo was of the car's odometer. The second photo was of the display screen in the center of the dashboard, and it had the backup system activated, showing the cameras and such. And then there was a third photo, which Clark essentially said, yeah, that's basically the same as the second photo. Also said that there was a forensic scientist there that was marking up the vehicle, taping things off and things like that. And then Yannetti started with Cross. And in true fashion of how this case has been going, Yannetti started asking him some questions about Lieutenant Tully, and a quick sidebar was called. After a quick sidebar, Yannetti asked him if he was there prior to Proctor or if Proctor was there before him, to which he said Proctor was there first and that he didn't know that he had access to the vehicle earlier in the day. A year and a half later, he conducted an interview alongside Proctor of Colin Albert, which is Brian Albert's nephew. Then Yannetti got objected to again when he started asking about the Alberts' connection with the police department. Judge Cannoni sustained it, and you can only imagine what happened next. They went to a sidebar. The ones that she said that she was trying to lessen throughout the trial. Then the state called witness number 27, which is Evan Brent. He's with the Massachusetts State Police, and he's a new witness. Lally did the direct examination, and of course, we all know how the beginning of this went. Career, experience, education, all of that. He told us what it meant to be on call, how it works from 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. Basically, if anything comes in through that time, that gets assigned to you, and that becomes your case. He was asked by Proctor to come and document a Chevy Traverse, and so he did so. He went and took photos of it, and he did not note any damage to the vehicle. Yannetti came with the cross-examination, and he told us that, he did not actually author any of the reports. He said he did take notes, but it was Proctor who wrote the reports himself. He said the photos were taken 5 days after the incident, and he has no idea what the condition of this vehicle was 5 days ago or who had access to it or anything like that. He just took the photos that day, and that's all he knows. Witness number 28 was then called, which is Brian Gallerani, and he's with the Needham Police Department. Ali did direct, so we know how this already starts. Career, education, experience, all that stuff, right? Got that first. He holds a special certificate that allows him to collect DNA. On January 16th of 2024, he did a buccal swab, aka he did a mouth swab of both Buchanan and Proctor. Collected the evidence, sealed it, put it where it was supposed to go, and that was that. And then very briefly on cross, and over the objection of the prosecution, Yannetti asked if he was asked to get a mouth swab of the police chief, of Kevin Albert, or Lieutenant Brian Tully. And of course he said, no, he was not. Then we got to our last witness of the day, which was witness number 29, Maureen Harnett. She's a forensic scientist with the Massachusetts State Police. This time we got Brennan doing the direct examination, and we found out she's basically went to this job after graduating college. So she's a lifer, is what I like to call him. She was asked to go and examine Karen's car, and they showed a few photos of what she found. One had 2 pieces of glass, is what she noted, and these were down in the bumper ridges, scratches and dents to the vehicle, and a hair, a single hair. All of these things being there after snow melting, being towed, driven around, and, not falling off or anything. It's crazy. And in true Brennan fashion, we had a little bit of trouble with evidence identification again, so Judge Cannoni sent everyone for lunch. When they came back from lunch, Brennan tried really hard to clear up the confusion and the issue with the evidence that was in the box. She also talked about analyzing things from the red Solo cups, as well as a few pieces of John's clothes. On cross, Alessi got her to agree that Proctor was the lead investigator, that she had came to no conclusion as to what caused the damage to the vehicle, and that she had no idea if that damage was there prior to February 1st or when it happened. She has no idea. AKA, basically, she can't say when it happened based on her findings. She said she can't say what caused the injury to John's arm because that's outside of her expertise, and she really just collects evidence. She doesn't come to conclusions. I think a big piece of evidence is that she tested several areas on the SUV for blood that all came back negative. But don't forget, the hair made it. The hair made it. She said she had never tested a sample from a red Solo cup before. And in a shocking turn of events, she does not believe that DNA testing was done on the swabs from the red Solo cups or John's clothing. So it's not known who the bloodstains could belong to. How do you fuck that up so bad? Truly, how? It's apparent that she had a little bit of trouble understanding what Alessi was trying to ask her when he said, was there any pieces of glass inside the taillight? I think that's pretty clear, right? I think that's a pretty easy question to understand, but I guess she just couldn't get it. She said she didn't know anything about the taillight and that she only collects evidence. Here's another ding, ding, ding. She did not find any DNA on the taillight. And we got down to the nitty gritty and Alessi showed her the photo again where she agreed there was only one piece of glass, not two. Alessi asked her what the probability of these items staying there after a snowstorm, being driven miles, things like that, which got objected to, and as we know, Judge Cannoni sustained. She did confirm that the hair was not glued, taped, or fastened to the vehicle in any way, and it was very easy to remove with a pair of tweezers. She was asked to compare two photos in this hairpiece and whether it was the same or if it was a different piece of hair, and at the end of it, she basically said, these are the same piece of hair. Then court ended for the day, they dismissed the jurors, and they ended with yet another sidebar. Auntie Bev, I just don't think you understand what lessening sidebars means. And at this point, court will continue tomorrow on day 16. That's it for your day 15 wrap up. Thank you for being here. Thank you for following along. And I'm so glad to hear you guys are enjoying the content. Here's the question of the day. If you were a juror in this case and you heard that the blood was never tested, what would your thoughts on that be? Let me know in the comments.